Domestic violence is often seen as a female victim or male perpetrator problem. Reports has it now that about 2 in 5 of all victims of domestic violence are men. Recently, a story of a woman, Mariam Sanda, went viral for allegedly stabbing her husband, Haliru Bello, to death, accusing him of infidelity. Also, a lawyer was recently sentenced to 7 years imprisonment for killing her husband. Are women now revolting using violence? We grew up with the men would cheat syndrome, that listen, this is how men behave, and we're somewhat trained to manage, accept that situation. Suddenly, women are finding it difficult because somebody told us here that we don't want to tolerate anymore. We just want to, we're ready to react
immediately.
What changed? Right?
I don't think anything changed. I think, look, when I was in my 30s, I noticed one thing. Just before my period or just after my period, I used to have some wild moods. Yes. That if I'm driving on the road and you are a downfall or anything, you cut in front of me, I will get down. Yes. I will fight you. Yes. And I used to wonder, where is all this rage coming from? Right. It was just rage. Hormones. And it was my hormones. Yes. It was, I think I took a step back at about 37 and thought, come, what's wrong with you? So I realized that, so I now started to calculate when these mood swings would come. I realized it was
once a month.
Yes, it was close to my periods, or maybe just after. So, and in Nigeria, we don't really follow this.
Study trends.
We don't. And menopause too can cause these. So we're not really following these things. So when the woman reacts, you would think, no, we are revolting. We're not revolting. We are just having hormonal and hormonal issues can.
They are killing somebody. What kind of hormonal?
This woman had just had a baby, 6 months. She probably had postpartum depression, and nobody had identified it. She probably still has it. Will probably kill herself in prison. Do you understand? Because nobody has identified, and I'm not making excuses for anybody who kills someone. We have to actually identify.
Yes. We have 2 instances that made me think, sit down and think through that, truly, this is not a new occurrence. It's always been, that's why we have strong burial rights against women who survive their husbands. Because you see, in some tribes, they know that women truly go through so much. Rather than allow the woman when she's tense and saying, I think the way out is out, we criticize her for wanting to leave. We criticize her for putting her children at risk. You make it so difficult that out is not the option. So she's faced with more difficulty and then eventually bottles up to the point where rage. People don't understand that anger is one emotion that is extremely detrimental. One person cannot be allowed to have anger so much and you're still criticizing instead of finding solutions.
See, I'm hearing excuses though.
Mariah, no, hold on.
There's someone making excuses for women.
No. I am saying that women have always, at some point, been suspected of being responsible for poisoning their husbands because of the kind of things they face in marriage. So rather than have the conversation about, your husband did this to you or you did this to your husband, you should look at one way, you're criticizing that woman. This woman, for instance, accused her husband of, cheating. Right. Someone should have told her, if you are not happy with it, get out. She now bottled it. She kept attacking that man in front of family members. And the solution wasn't for herself to, madam, you are getting too angry.
No, but they advised the husband to get out. He refused.
That's from the victim point. Women do that too. Women stay in abusive marriages thinking that's the right thing.
YK said something.
Why not talk to the person who is supposed to be the predator in this situation now? That you are the one who has anger issues. All right, you are the one with the problem. You get out.
YK just said something. He loved her.
Oh, YK, leave that one.
No. I read the story and it was love.
The guy loves. See, apart from that, I'm not making excuses for the women because even the men. You remember we were saying it here when that doctor was here on Tuesday. Even the men, when they beat their wives, they are coming from one traumatic experience and that nobody knows what is causing that. So and because in Nigeria we do not follow psychology, psychiatry.
When a woman says, oh, I love him, that's why I'm staying there, I love him. she's criticized again.
Yeah.
Now, why don't you leave? So that's why I don't want to take the argument of, oh, he loved her.
Morayo.
You have to, once you're faced with violence, once you're faced with anger issues, you should be
deal with your
family
anger.
life coaches now.
Whether
that we have.
male or female, you who has the anger issues, go deal with it. Because you know we've sat on this couch I say a lot of times on this couch, don't stay in a violent marriage. You don't take the violence. That's for the woman who is in case a victim. The same thing goes for the man. But now, whoever is the predator in the marriage, you, the man or the woman who knows that you are the one bottling up anger, when you get to that point, you think you're stabbing somebody, think of the consequences, step out,
think at that
find
time.
solution for yourself.
Nima, nobody wants to kill anyone. At the point at which they pick a knife or a broken bottle, they're crazy. You are saying to a crazy person or a mad person, go and cure yourself.
This is it.
So I think that God hates divorce. But in the case of violence, we have heard over and over, step out of the situation. The lady that was killed by her husband in front of a five-year-old boy, son, had stepped out of her marriage was just because she came back for something that she lost her life. So in the case of violence, one, don't marry the wrong person, no, but people even change in marriage. If you married a good man, he lost his job. I agree. He lost his job, so he has changed. Seek counseling. Don't think that you are the solution to such a problem. And I have researched and realized that women are actually stronger than men. You know, in all emotional regards. It's weakness that makes men use their physical power.
So if a woman is stronger, why did she go as far as doing killing her husband? Let me take this call. Morning, are you there?
Hello?
Samson, how are you? Go ahead, please.
I'm happy that this topic is touching on us now. Everybody's looking fine there. Sister Kuti and everybody.
Thank you, Samson. Go ahead, please.
It's always violence against women, domestic violence. I'm happy you captured this down, against men. It's very common, and the truth is that women, maybe because of their biological, the way they are organized, naturally by God, they have more anger than men. And you see, once a woman is married, it is finished. That is, cannot go to anywhere. But for the men, of course, it's a man's world. At the same time, men who are responsible too, when they marry, even though they have a girlfriend somewhere, some do it secretly. If a woman gets to know, it's a choice. If you want to stay with your man, stay. If you don't want to stay with your man, leave. The anger of women.
Thank you very much, Samson.
May we address something? No, Ojo Barianot says, when one is cheated on, the hurt, pain one feels triggers rage, anger. If you cannot forgive your partner for cheating, I advise you leave. But if you cannot control your temper around the person.
But there's another angle. Is it possible that women, the reason why we can handle when our husbands cheat, because we're surrounded with family and people who have experienced it and say, okay, this is how it is.
It seems normal.
It seems normal, and you kind of find a way to manage it. But men really don't have anybody to make them understand that, listen, if your wife is cheating on you, this is how to handle it. Don't kill her, or even women. When that thing happens, how do you manage it such that it doesn't get to violence?
You see, one doesn't know how they are going to react in any situation.
True.
It happens when the rage happens. It's not something that rage is coming.
It's premeditated.
It's coming. It's not. It's something that comes, and the reaction is,
I have a training that makes me prepare for when I'm angry. The prophet used to say that the stronger one is the person who can control emotions when he's angry. So whenever I'm extremely upset, I think of myself and how I can douse that anger. If at that point in time I'm putting all the blame on the other person as provoking me, at that point I'm weak. Right. So I think it's always you. It's about you at the time, because you're the one bottling up this rage. Before you get to that point where you take a knife, like the Ibadan case, probably an argument, and the woman just kept, getting to that point where she didn't know. Stabbed her husband.
It was an argument, so he was sleeping because he had a child abroad.
And she went to stab him.
She locked the door and stabbed him.
Let me take this call from Antonia. Antonia, are you there?
We're talking about domestic violence.
Yes.
And
against men.
The women, we're discussing the women these days. Okay, so could it be that the woman that stabbed her husband did that in self-defense? When we're not there, one cannot really tell. I can tell you this. Women can be very passionate, and of course, they can be angry as well. but they also need their husband. So for a woman to have stabbed her husband, definitely, probably she had no choice. Probably the anger.
No.
There's always a choice, Antonia.
No.
There's always a choice.
In this particular case, she had stabbed him before, and
But Antonia has a
even the
point.
stabbing
They
this
removed
time.
the ear.
But even aside from that, that's in this case. But Antonia is right. There are situations where it's in self-defense. But even though it's self-defense, you have a choice to walk out.
No, if the door is locked in court, the man wants to kill you. What do you do?
Okay, let me quickly say what to answer to Antonia. If you are in a domestic violence situation, you are bottling up emotions, and you get to the point in self-defense, you stab your husband. It's always your one story against yours.
All right, let's take a
Don't
break.
find yourself in a situation where
Let's take a break. We're going to bring in
where
our
stories
very
like such
special
happen.
guest, hopefully to add his 2 cents to this conversation, and we'll learn more about him. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Joining us to join the conversation is the Oluwo of Iwo Land, Emperor Telu I, Alashe Lori Orisha, Arole Eledumare, Paramount Natural Ruler of Iwo Land, Oba Abdulrasheed Adewale. Welcome to the show.
Kábíyèsí o.
Adépẹ́ lórí, kí bàtà pẹ́ lẹ́sẹ̀. Welcome, sir. Kábíyèsí, we know you are very particular about young people and marrying the old with the new. But we'll come to that conversation a bit later. But we'd like to hear your thoughts on the issue of violence against men in marriages, especially because in our culture, women have been trained to accept whatever it is that comes to them in marriage. But in recent times, women are they're seemingly revolting in marriages and they're getting violent. Askai, what are your thoughts on these prevalent issues?
My own thoughts are, it's been the norm that in Africa, and what you're taught with is that you have to subject everything to the man. And this is the family values, the cultural values, the traditional values. But now, we're in a system that law is taking its course. And we have laws now. It's not about going to a king and finishing to settle quarrels anymore. It's not about the olden medieval times. So now there are laws. That's when you look at women are now being powerful around the world and they are taking positions in government. Then you look at what is actually happening to a woman who comes from a family that has been trained to subject everything to. Then you look at, is there a psychological problem? We have to look at the mental state of that woman. And that is what I believe in. What is going on right now, people have, maybe after they have a child, they have postpartum. Yes, the man is not looking at that. You have to look at changes in your wife when they just have a child. There are many other things that can, and especially the mental state of the woman, because it is not just something easy for a woman to do that during in a marriage in Yoruba land or in Nigeria.
I want to deviate. I want to digress, sorry, and leave this one for now.
Okay.
Because you look very, I mean,
Regal.
I just love what, you look regal. You
Thank
said
you.
the right, you know?
Thank you.
Are you married?
Yes.
The reason I'm asking is she's not married.
YK!
Gbẹ́sẹ̀ lé her.
YK! Please, I don't answer that question. Please, Nima, ask your question.
Tell us a bit
That's a
about your
Jumoke.
style of rulership. I think you're a very modern Oba, in the sense that, you know, your Olori, you know, changing the norms. She has a crown.
Yeah.
She has an office, you know. In the African ways, you know, there are Oloris, so there's no crown for any Olori, but you have one wife and, you know, she wears the...
No, you're wrong.
Okay.
You have to know the history. People don't know their history, then you won't know where you're going. You won't know the key to the future is the past,
Let me tell our government.
which you can visit the past, but don't stay in the past.
Right.
Okay.
So I can show you this. This is an archaeological. This is an archaeological something. No, this is the Ooni of Ife. Odudua actually crowned his own queen.
Wow.
Oduduwa is our own progenitor who brought the crown itself. He is the one that brought the first crown, and he crowned his own wife. A wife of Oduduwa is Olokun. You can see the statue in NTA. Have you seen NTA statue? Yes. What do you see on her head? That's a woman, and her name is Olokun.
Right. Yes.
That's the first wife of Oduduwa. But I think it's because of during the course of time after Oduduwa, I think men just have this thing about equal opportunity, and they just don't want to. In Yoruba land, they say Adelafin Moba.
Benny.
If I come here now, or I'm in the crowd, and I don't have my crown, would you think there's
an ordinary person, you know?
And I'm not an ordinary person. So Adelafin Moba, a king must wear his crown all the time. But Kilafin Molori, what do you use to know?
Ileke.
No. Everybody wears ileke.
What's it called? Chiefs wear ileke.
Everybody wears that. It's the same crown because it's in the office. When you are husband and wife, you became one. So Adelafin Moba, Kilafin Molori. Go and look at where Oduduwa got the idea of the crown from. He came from the eastern side, the Middle East. Over there, he is the first one that brought crown to Yoruba land. And when he brought it, this is the first government. Oduduwa brought the first government.
Okay, talking about equality, there's a tweet here saying that the reason women are now violent against them and some is based on feminism. That, you know, because women are now empowered, you're educated, I'm educated, you can't cheat me, you can't be cheating, you know, and everybody's telling me to just take it because I'm a woman. You have issues with our obas, you know. You've mentioned that our problem is with the kings.
Oh, yeah.
You know, do you want to expatiate on that? Because
first, you have to actually define what kingship is. Kingship is not something physical. Kingship is spiritual, divine. That is all about our culture. The Yoruba culture that I know is one of the most beautiful tradition and culture in the world. Okay. We have the best language that you can use that language to, one word, akoko, which means time. Akoko, akoko is the leaf for it. Just one word.
I mean several things.
Several things.
Ogun, 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 ogun. Ogun. There's a lot. Oto, 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 oto. And our names are embedded in prayers, you can see. Today, I'm so disappointed that I see where we're going, which is due to our problems, the kings. If you don't know that you are the representative of God on earth. The only king, which I'm talking about spiritual, God is the only king. Yes. I am not the king. Only God is the king. I am just sitting as a physical representative of God on earth. On earth, only the kings are the representative of God. Okay. The pastors, the imams, the alphas, and everybody, they are messengers. Oh. Messengers, sent.
Right.
But the king is the only one that if you want to say something close to God, because only the king has the name of God.
Right. Okay, sir.
Only a physical. Just a moment. And when you know your name as the king, it means you are the representative of God. So how do you subject yourself to something that is lesser than even the messenger? It's like the president of, let me tell you what is happening. It's like the president of Nigeria right now sends Oshibajo, who is the vice president, or someone to go and represent me somewhere. And Oshibajo get there, or the person to represent the president got there, and went under a counselor and said, I'm going to be serving you right now.
That's very
Will the president disconnect from him or not?
Immediately.
So that's why God has disconnected from the kings. Wow. And that's why you see there is something called government. Just a moment. There's something called government in Nigeria now. We call it in Yoruba, we call it Ijoba.
Ijoba.
The government Ijoba or Alakoso. Because the government are not the assembly of kings. Yes. But now God has taken that name from us, the kings, and given it to
but can I say something?
So we are disconnected from the source.
But that would not really be the fault of the Obas. Let me tell you why. I think that. I think that because when the Uibo man came and colonized us, what he did, by the time he colonized, he made the Obas under his own.
Can I ask you something?
Let me finish.
In Yoruba land, if you kings are not serving as the you have to serve the people. Yeah. You don't rule the people.
Yes.
You serve the people as a head. God is the one serving us.
Yes.
We cannot serve God. You go and serve humanity, then you're serving God.
Right.
So what you do is when you get as a king, you serve the people, you treat the people right. In the olden days, you will see that they will say, when the king can hear one side and don't hear the other side, go and cut his head. Whose head are you cutting if you're the father of the people? So believe me, people have been subject to rulership, and they are going. So when there was an alternate power that came, they just went, you know what, they're not good.
No. But that alternative power was not good either.
Just a moment.
They were taking us as slaves.
No, they didn't take you as slaves. You sold your people. No.
I disagree with
you. Just a moment. No, let me explain to you. The white men didn't come in thousands to Osun State.
Right.
The white man was on something. Where did slavery come from? Slavery came from Africa. We started slavery. Then the Arabs, maybe you don't know the history of slavery. She don't know the history of slavery.
I know the history of slavery.
If you know the history of slavery, then you will know that our own people we are still enslaving each other till today.
Yes.
Our own people, when the Arabs come here to buy salt, you actually do what? You did what? You volunteer your children to go to carry the salt for them from here to Saudi Arabia. Let me tell you, the Chinese they were not enslaved. They didn't sell their children to slavery. The white people, the Indians, the native Indians in America do you know the only people that sold their children to slavery?
The Africans.
The Africans.
All right, let's pause.
Yeah, just a moment. Okay. And let me tell you, when we ourselves, we took the best out among us, the leaders, made a pact. Because the white men didn't start slavery by themselves. Arabs first, then to the Portuguese, to the Spanish.
Go on a quick break, sir.
Okay.
I have to pause you, sir. I know you're really.
No.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
You have to.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back. Welcome back to Your View.
Thanks for staying with us. So, Oba Okabiesi.
Yes.
I know you're very passionate about youth.
Yes.
You try to be a modern Oba, trying to see how we can take our history and bring it and kind of find a meeting point.
Yes.
Because we heard about you actually wearing a suit on the throne. Well, tell us about that. Why are you so passionate about the youth?
That was
culture?
a metaphor.
Right.
We're making a statement.
Right.
We want people to know that, look at me now, the way I brought Ofi. And this is a new kind of modern style.
Right.
And when you send it, we don't want to be in a culture that,
That is stagnant.
Stagnant. We can't stay in the past. Okay, people are now saying worshiping idols, worshiping deities. Now we know that these people, the deities that we have in our land, they were heroes in the past. They were people that lived. But what they did, like I will tell you, especially Ogun.
Yes.
Ogun was a blacksmith. What he did was cutlass. Okay, so if Ogun can be a deity because he made cutlass, what about the people that made planes today? Why are they not gods? When did people stop becoming gods? The white people too, they worshipped Zeus, Saxes, Thames before. But when they found out that these people, they were people, they were supposed to be only heroes. And we remember them. We can do, Christmas is being celebrated. Maulud Nabi, which is for the Muslim, is still celebrated. Abraham Lincoln, Martin Luther King Jr.'s Day. So when did people stop becoming? Then people will say, Eni-Orisha-Da. Okay, Eni-Orisha-Da means the chosen ones. Yeah. So we don't have chosen ones again in this generation now. So it means the medieval times. In the city of the blind, the one-eyed man. That's why people like Ogun became. Today, we need to celebrate the heroes of the past and not worshiping them. And especially me, as a king, when I got in the position of God on earth, it means that everything, when I was just my prince, I can do anything I want to do. People can do that. But the day you become a king, that's the day you don't prostrate no more. Yes. You don't go to bukas and eat no more. Yes. So you have to move from that past and go to
pause you for a quick second. I have a phone call. Been waiting for a while.
Yes. Yeah, I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah, I want to congratulate the king,
yes,
number one.
Yes.
And secondly, to appreciate him because there was a time we visited him. We visited him with a politician and my boss gave him a gift, a kind gift, and he rejected it in his presence. You know, that was the first thing that made me to fall in love with this king you're sitting with. And thirdly, he's always talking about God. You know, he's always full of talking about God all the time. That's why I'm not surprised with the kind of wisdom he has, you know. And I want to, you know, encourage him that he should keep on with what he's doing because the youth are looking up to him. We are all looking up to him. Because any steps he takes, that's what he used to go home with, you know.
Thank you very much,
I want to encourage him that he should.
Thank you very much, Peter. Yes, Nima.
I appreciate the fact that your wife is not from Africa. Yes. She's from the Americas. And I want to understand...
Jamaican, right?
She's Canadian.
Canadian.
Yeah. So help us on this intercontinental marriage. You know, is it just to foster modernity?
You see, there's we have a problem in Africa, especially in Nigeria. We have what is called corruption in the traditional and cultural values. And that is what I'm trying to get out of our people. We have the kind of medicine that takes human beings, that asks for human parts. When you have that, and you want to, we have worshiping of deities, we have our own, we have money-making medicine that actually asks for ritualists. And when did money come to Africa? That people know money-making medicine.
The colonialists.
Let me tell you, I told everybody, the day you tell me you can give me the God that Oduduwa worshipped, himself that brought the, Oduduwa is the code of the kings.
Yes.
So if you can, the day you give me the name of the deity that Oduduwa worshipped, I will remove my crown. I will cease to be a king that day.
Okay, is it your Western education that has
changed? It's not Western education, it's divinity. I got divine inspiration.
Right.
I am told I am sent by God to come and represent him, to show the people that kingship, what is about.
Right.
And this is, let me tell you, corruption in our traditional and cultural values will not make our tradition and culture attractive. And that's why our children are running away from the traditional values. Right. You will never see, most of 80 million Muslims in this Nigeria, you will never see any of them try to wear ofi. So where do we promote our culture? Our names are embedded with prayers. Today, people want to be Stone, Johnson, Richard, names that has no meaning. Our own names. Our own names is Olamide. Is that not prayer for you?
Yes. Let me take this call from Kule. Let me take a from Kule. Yes. Kule, are you there?
Yeah.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Kabesi.
I
greet you, Kabesi.
Yes.
This is Kule Akitayo. I just had to call into this program to say it's good to have you here. Thank you for what you are doing for Iwo, because you're putting Iwo on the map. Yes. No matter what anybody says, forget about them. We
the people of Iwu know that you are putting us on the map and you are saying a lot of things. Jumoke, how are you?
I'm good, Kole.
So I hear KBC is objecting a lot of our practices that, you know, will cost human life, for instance, like the Oro.
Would you want your own child?
Exactly.
Would you want your own child? Who takes Oro? Would you want your own child to be in the night and be shouting Eriwoya in 2017? Your own child that went to Oxford University. When you want him to come back and then go in the night and start Eriwoya. Let me tell you, cultism. Kings should not be in any cult at all.
Right.
When you can be in cult before you get there, or be in anything that you, but when you become a king, you are the leader of the people. The real leaders in Nigeria are the kings, not the government. The government will go and come. The Oba stands forever.
Right.
And that's why kings supposed to be a role model for the people. Where did these children get cultism from? Cults. Do you know where they got it from? They got it from us. They didn't just get it from thin hair. It was inherited. We that were in cult, I'm not in any cult. I will never belong to any cult. I will only belong to the Assembly of Kings, Ijo, Oba.
Unfortunately, we ran out of time.
And unfortunately, I could not ask all the controversial questions surrounding you. You know, somebody, Adedokun, accused you of some things, but maybe we will have you back.
Well,
not today.
Thank you, KBC, for coming. Unfortunately, we ran out of time. Thank you so much. Is there any last words you want to say?
Yeah, I want to say that today, any system that has corruption will not be. Investors are not coming to Nigeria because corruption is thriving. We need to fight corruption. But any politician, be it PDP, APC, COA party, they all need to have an agenda against corruption. I'm fighting the corruption in the traditional and cultural system.
All right, we have
and
to run
that's
out.
it.
Thank you very much,
God
sir.
bless you.
That's all we can take on the show today. I hope you learned as much of our culture as we did. Have a fabulous day. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.